Howdy, what's up YouTube? This is Matthew Pisgatti. It's your boy. Just kidding, you don't know me, but we're talking about crypto, and I'm pretty excited because the Piggy Bank is launching soon. Now, full disclosure, I'm a broke boy at the moment. I've gone into the farms and the Faucet and the DRIP Garden, but I don't have a lot to spare to throw into the Piggy Bank, so I am not going in at launch, although I'm very excited about the possibilities that the Piggy Bank affords, and if I had a good extra bit laying around, I would definitely throw it in there. Obviously, that is not financial advice. You're going to do whatever you want to do with your funds, and you really should. You should research any of these crazy DeFi projects. They're all high risk. That being said, I am bullish on this whole ecosystem. As the last video I just posted, that was pretty much what it was all about. Is that I do have a lot of faith in this system and Forex Shark, but I'm just a guy on the internet talking about crypto, drinking an Icelandic beer, and telling you what I think. So don't listen to me, do your own research. What's cool about the Piggy Bank? The Piggy Bank, now that we've got the first view of the front end, and I've already gone over the white paper a bit, we could pull that back up, but it is linked in one of the other videos. We went through that. It's essentially like the Drip Garden in a lot of ways. So if you're familiar with the Drip Garden, what do we do here? We're throwing in an LP token, and then we're getting a certain amount, up to is what Forex Shark would say, around 3%, 3.3% a day, which is pretty cool. We keep compounding, and the name of the game is compounding more than we harvest. Not only that, but compounding at a higher ratio to your harvests than those around you, mainly because the more capital that is thrown in, the more the buying power increases. So as that contract balance increases and as the time increases, meaning that every day the garden is running, both of those factors add buying power for new people coming in. So these new people are coming in, they're getting plants at a more affordable rate. That's the tokens well, not really tokens, but those are what represent the value within this game, plants and seeds. Now, seeds are what you sell, but plants are the miner, or however you want to look at it. That's the one that is dropping the sellable asset. So if you have increased buying power, if you're new capital coming in, your plants are going to be much more affordable, meaning you're going to be able to grab a larger amount. And even though the daily rewards have dropped, we've seen that over time. This is part of the game as well, because it backs into what the plant price is. Your daily reward is going to drop per plant. However, if you've already been in a while, you're hopefully compounding, and so that's the strategy here. We want to compound more than we harvest. And as long as the LP token value stays around where it is, or if we are blessed enough that it will go up, if it goes up in price, which I am bullish that it will, that's my opinion, you don't have to see it the same way, do your own research there, then we'll be even better off, as we compound. But if we get behind the other animals, this is the animal farm, so to use Forex Shark's fun theming here, if we get behind the other animals in our compounding and harvesting ratio, then we lose out. We start to get less rewards per day, and eventually we would be phased out. We'd be the old wilted plants at the back of the garden that aren't getting enough sun or too much shade or what have you. So that's part of the strategy here. We want to compound more than we harvest, and it's plants and seeds. Now back to the piggy bank. What does that have to do with the garden? Why is it similar? It's similar because it's basically the same thing, and I'll tell you why. The first part of that is the LP token aspect. So we're still staking an LP token. In this case, it is pigs/BUSD. So the drip garden is drip BUSD, and this is pigs. Now, pigs are actually a little more expensive token right now, and we can see this as this program is getting close to launching. Dogs and pigs are actually both playing a part. But the other side of the LP token is the pigs token, pigs BUSD. And we can see, since this program has been announced, first the pigs were already present in the animal farm when that launched. But since the piggy bank has been announced, we can see the price of pigs, really rocketing upward. And if we get a lot of traction with this new piggy bank that's launching, I think it will continue to boost this up. We'll see if it goes higher, but I imagine that it would. We do also see dogs going up as well. And dogs are relevant to this because you need to hold dogs to be eligible for any referral bonuses within the garden. Strike that, not the garden, but the piggy bank. So the piggy bank has the referral features down here mentioned, depending on how many dogs you hold in this nice little Fibonacci sequence pattern. If you hold 2 dogs, you get 1% referral. 3 dogs, you get 2% referral, and so on. So that is actually going to drive the price of dogs up, if I had to predict that. And Forex has compared this multiple times to the DRIP token, because the DRIP did the same thing. He's kind of showing the chart here that it was trending along very low, and then when he made that a requirement to receive DRIP referrals, you have to hold a certain amount of the DRIP to get referrals on your DRIP referral link. The price skyrocketed up, made that token much more valuable. So if you were holding more than just the minimum you needed to get referrals, you did pretty well there. So that was kind of an interesting twist. He's pushing these other projects up that I think he also had a hand in. And again, I'll say it in a million different ways, but it's another reason to be bullish on Forex's projects. That he's not just forgetting old projects or protocols, contracts, and leaving those in the dust. He's actually making utilities for those with his new site or with his future projects. The same thing happened with DRIP Faucet. Animal Farm or the Manor Farm. Animal Farm has these farms or the garden that utilize DRIP, so it still uses DRIP, so the faucet just isn't getting pushed to the side. That token can actually have more utility within the ecosystem and be put to use. So that's why we'd expect dogs to go up. They're needed for the referrals. We expect pigs to go up because they're the other half of this LP token, and there's going to be a lot added in to be staked. So what makes it different from the garden while we're talking about it? You're going to stake your pigs BUSD tokens. Does that page go anywhere? What is this link? It takes us to the pigs liquidity. Okay. So that we can get our LP tokens. That makes sense. So this is how it's different from the garden while we're talking about, or while we're on that topic. You have your LP tokens, you stake them. You don't have to do anything else with them. I'm assuming that there's a compound link. If there's not, it may be auto compounding, which is a little different than the garden. I don't know until this launches and goes full swing, which it will soon. We are looking at the countdown now. It looks like we're 1 day, about 12 hours and 30 minutes. So that's March 3rd, 11 a.m. New York time is when this is going to launch. And I think we'll have more information then because we'll be able to play with these sliders. But what is that slider for? If you're familiar with Hex, which you may not be, but I did do a video over Rex, which is kind of like a new iteration of that, kind of similar. However, Piggy Bank is going to be similar to those concepts of Rex or Hex in that you are creating a time lock on your principal. So you'll take a certain amount of the LP. I assume you'll be able to choose how much you'd like to place into each stake, but you will time lock that for a certain number of weeks. So 1 week is the minimum. But what's going to happen is that your bonus will exponentially increase depending on how long you want to time lock it for. And of course you'll be penalized if you have to end the stake early, but if you do choose a time frame that you're comfortable with, you'll get a really awesome reward on your principal. You'll get that returned. And so we've talked about it when we went over the white paper as to how this is going to work. Of course, longer pays better. The more weeks you throw in for, the bigger percentage you're going to have. You're going to get some nice airdrop functions where you can gift these stakes to people or to your followers if you get referrals. There is the ability to end early, and the penalty you pay is actually going to go to other stakers and help boost their rewards. So that's cool. And you can have multiple stakes per wallet. You can see this chart is already set up where you're going to see all of your stakes start stacking up here. I don't think there's a limit to that. And you'll also see your referral and how long they're locking, which Forex mentioned. That's kind of a cool feature because if you have maybe a certain program you want to run and you say, hey, any one of my referrals who time locks for, time locks at least $1,000 for 2 months or for a year, I'll airdrop you XYZ stake also for a year and kind of double or whatever bonus you want to give your followers. That could be some incentive, and you could use this to accomplish that. You could get more visibility into your referrals, which we really haven't had with the garden, or the drip faucet has some visibility, but that's a really neat feature, I think. So you're going to see all of your stakes here. You're going to have buttons where you can compound that bonus back into the stake. And then you're going to see your max payout. So we're going to see how more of this works as this launches, as it goes live. But that's the basic function. You're going to put up however many LP you want. You're going to choose a period of time for staking. And as Forex explained it, you'll get to play with that slider a bit, and you'll see the benefit. You'll see the percentage as it changes. And that way you'll know. Does this go anywhere yet? That way you'll know how long you want to commit for, if that percentage works for you or not. Looks like this one is already up where we can kind of glance at it. This is airdropping or gifting a stake to someone else. Say, hey, I'm going to airdrop you something, but it's going to take 2 weeks to mature, and that makes them kind of hold on to it for that amount of time as well, which is neat. So while we're on that page, looking at looking at piglets. That is the theming here. That's also what's a little different from the garden. You're used to seeing plants and then plants and then seeds. We're looking here at piglets and then truffles. So your piglets, the more piglets you have, the more truffles they're going to be able to locate. If you're not familiar with that terminology or why that's kind of clever, in certain parts of the world, pigs are actually used for their incredible sense of smell. They actually locate truffles. And then on to the portion that I am not knowledgeable about. What is a truffle? I think it's a type of mushroom. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if you're in one of those places that actually does that. That's kind of a neat feature. You may not have known that pigs could do that. But anyway, that's the theming here is piglets, truffles. The more piglets we have, the more truffles we can find. And and then our truffles could be harvested or recompounded back. I guess we're feeding them to the piglets, essentially, to make more piglets. So that's the theming they're going for. Maybe a little bit of a stretch, but hey, it's all fun ways to represent our funds that we hope to be making money off of very rapidly. Although this is a time stake, so knowing Forex, that's the whole point, is that we're also rewarding compounding and longevity. We want these projects to go for years. We don't want them to run for a month and then stop like so many of the other DeFi projects do and fail. So that is the whole concept here. Let's see if we can get some longevity, if we can stake for a couple years, if you can commit to that. That's awesome. How else is this different from Hex and Rex? He's talking about that a little bit here, where instead of just slapping all of the bonus on at the end, he's actually applying a portion of your multiplier bonus throughout the life of the stake. So that's really cool. So the first 30% of the bonus, the multiplier bonus, is actually being added within the first 75% of the stake length, and then exponentially he's going to add the last 25% of whatever that bonus is. The rest of it is going to be added in the last 25% of the... so 30% of the multiplier during the first 75% of the timeline, and then the remainder is going to be added on in the last 25%. So what that means is that as that bonus is added along the way, So when you reach this point, if he's applied, where are we at here? Oh, this is more the length of time. So once he's applied 30% of the bonus, like let's say we get to that point, you've now had 30% of whatever the multiplier is added to your original principal. And then if I understand this correctly, the rest of that bonus is actually being bonused off of the new principal we've arrived at. So that's what makes this a little unique, is that as that bonus is being tacked on along the way, it's actually increasing your principal, and then the rest of the bonus is being added to that new principal. So that's pretty cool. And if you really think about that, if you do the math, you'll see how that adds up incredibly quickly and how awesome that is for your potential reward. And with that bonus being added on along the way, I don't know if that means we have to compound along the way to make that happen. You may have to kind of monitor your stakes and occasionally throw that bonus in to the principal so that it does add it on. So I think we'll need to wait to see how those features function. And we already talked about referrals. You'll have to hold dogs to have those. I will throw my link in the description, as I always do, if you decide to jump in any of this craziness, but I can't tell you what to do with your money. You need to do your own research here, look through the white paper, maybe listen to Forex's AMA tomorrow. He's going to have an AMA tomorrow in the Animal Farm Telegram. If you have more questions that I might know the answer to, go ahead and jump in my Telegram. That is also linked in the description. Just hop in there if you want to chat, and if you have longer questions that don't really work for the format of a YouTube comment, those can get kind of long and are kind of hard to keep track of if we're talking about the spreadsheet I have or any of the kind of crazy complications in this space. So I am glad to entertain those and have a conversation with you. There might be something I know. There might be something you know that I don't know, and I'm always glad to learn more. Oh, look at that. Even though I can't see my .000 something, I can see that it's translating to US dollars. That means my pig is being made very slowly. I'm excited for that. But I'm also excited for the piggy bank. Like I said at the beginning of this, I'm not throwing anything in to start with, but I do have some money in farms that I hope will make some pigs, and then I will end up staking them in those time locks. And other than that, I'm just chilling in the garden and plugging along to see where I end up. So thanks for watching. If you're not in any of these programs and you'd like to be, you've done your own research and you're interested, feel free to use any of my referral links. I always appreciate it as a thank you for any of the information I've provided. If I am completely wrong or misrepresenting something, please let me know in the comments, because I definitely don't want to be that guy throwing misinformation around. I may have messed something up along the way. I always welcome that type of criticism if it is constructive. Other than that, I'm going to keep plotting along my crypto journey for you. So if you find these interesting, hang in there with me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I will talk to you all later. Have a good one.